In the cold twilight of the Norse cosmos, long before the world of men trembled, the seeds of Ragnarok were already sown, not in fire, not in frost, but in the restless heart of Loki. Loki was never like the other gods. Though he lived among the Aesir in Asgard, feasting in the golden halls of Valhalla and walking beside Odin and Thor, he was not born of their kind. He was the son of giants, beings older than the gods themselves. Yet through cunning and blood brotherhood with Odin, he earned a place among them. For a time, his cleverness saved Asgard more than once. When the gods faced humiliation or disaster, it was often Loki's sharp mind that twisted fate back in their favor. But cleverness, when mixed with pride and resentment, can rot into something far darker. The beginning of the end came quietly. Baldr, the shining god, beloved by all, began to dream of his own death. His dreams were heavy with shadows, filled with images of Hel's cold halls. Fearing for her son, Frigg, queen of the gods, traveled across the 9 worlds extracting oaths from every creature and every element that they would never harm Baldr. Fire swore, water swore, iron, stone, beasts, sickness, and poison all swore. Nothing would hurt him. Nothing, so she believed. When the gods discovered Baldr could no longer be harmed, it became a sport. They hurled axes at him, shot arrows, cast spears, and laughed as every weapon fell uselessly away. Baldr stood smiling in their midst, untouchable. Only Loki did not laugh. Disguised as an old woman, he visited Frigg and gently questioned her. Had she truly asked everything in existence to swear the oath? Frigg, unsuspecting, admitted there was one small plant she considered too young and harmless to matter. Mistletoe. That was enough. Loki found the mistletoe, slender and unassuming, and fashioned it into a dart. Then he approached Hodr, Baldr's blind brother, who stood apart from the game. Loki placed the dart in Hodr's hand and guided his aim, telling him he too should honor his brother. The dart flew. Baldr fell. Silence shattered the heavens. The god of light lay dead, pierced by the one thing never bound by oath. Grief spread through Asgard like winter. Frigg's cries echoed across the worlds. Even Odin felt the weight of what had been done. They sent Hermod to Hel, begging for Baldr's return. Hel agreed, if every being in the cosmos wept for him. And nearly all did. Nearly. In a cave, a giantess named Thor refused to shed a tear. She claimed Baldr had brought her no joy in life, so she would not mourn him in death. The giantess was Loki in disguise. Because of that single refusal, Baldr remained in Hel's realm. When the gods realized the truth, their sorrow turned to fury. Loki fled, hiding in the mountains. He built a house with 4 doors so he could see danger from any direction. By day he transformed into a salmon and hid beneath waterfalls. But Odin sees far. The gods hunted him, catching him at last in the waters he thought would conceal him. They bound Loki in a cave using the entrails of his own son, which turned to iron. Above him, they placed a serpent whose venom dripped onto his face. His wife, Sigyn, stayed beside him, holding a bowl to catch the poison. But whenever she emptied it, the venom struck Loki's skin, and his writhing agony shook the earth. Those tremors became the earthquakes of Midgard. Bound in darkness, Loki's hatred deepened. The gods believed justice had been served. They feasted again. They fought their wars. They prepared their warriors in Valhalla. But something fundamental had changed. Trust was broken. Blood had been spilled by treachery within their own ranks. The death of Baldr was not merely tragedy, it was prophecy fulfilled. For Ragnarok was never just a battle. It was a reckoning. As the ages passed, signs began to gather. Fimbulwinter came, 3 relentless winters without summer. Brothers turned against brothers. Honor faded from the hearts of men. The great wolf Fenrir, Loki's son, strained against his magical bindings. The serpent Jormungandr stirred in the ocean depths. Even the dead grew restless. And in his cave, Loki waited. When the chains finally break, and they will, Loki will not return as a mischievous trickster. He will return as a general of chaos. He will sail from the east with the giants, steering the ship Naglfar made from the nails of the dead. Fenrir will run with jaws wide enough to swallow the sun. Jormungandr will rise from the sea, poisoning the skies. Heimdall will sound the Gellerhorn, and the gods will march to their doom. Odin will face Fenrir and fall. Thor will slay Jormungandr but die from its venom. Freyr will fall to Surtr, whose flaming sword will set the world ablaze. And Loki will meet Heimdall in mutual destruction, each striking the other down. All of it, every death, every flame, every collapsing star in the Norse sky, can be traced back to a single act born of envy and pride. A whisper in Frigg's ear. A dart of mistletoe. A god falling in silence. Loki did not create Ragnarok in a single moment. He sparked it. He broke the thread that held fate at bay. With Baldr's death, the gods lost their innocence, and the clock of doom began to tick. In the end, Ragnarok is not just the destruction of the gods. It is the consequence of betrayal within their own walls. And at the heart of that betrayal stands Loki, neither wholly evil nor misunderstood hero, but something far more dangerous. A catalyst. And when the world burns and sinks beneath the sea, when even Asgard lies in ruins, it will be remembered that the end began not with a roar, but with a lie.